Story 1. If this is the person you choose to be, then I have nothing to share with you. I am pretty proud of that. Although it wasn't a text message, it was in person. A text message would probably be something like, I received some mail addressed to you and left it in your mailbox. Story 2. Stop contacting me or I will call the police. That would actually be funny, to be honest, if he had to wear that. Story 3. I hope you enjoy being with her in the bed I paid for, cooking her dinner in the kitchen I furnished, snuggling on the sofa I bought, watching the television I purchased, and driving her around in the car you cannot afford without me. Story 4. I'm sorry. I'm embarrassed. You said you wanted time apart to work on yourself, and that should have been enough. I obviously have things to work on too. After a regrettable series of texts I sent to him, inviting him to my house for dinner, I changed my number. Life is getting better. Story 5. It was blank from the time I ignored her. She tried to text me randomly for a reaction by saying her sister was dying in the hospital, but she wasn't. Story 6. First one, who I'm still friends with. Hey, tomorrow at 8 p.m. at the Irish pub. Bring your new girlfriend too. Sent yesterday. Another one, who cheated on me at a festival with 7 strangers and tried to keep it a secret. I know what you did at Summer Breeze. Burn in hell. Story 7. It's a shame that life sometimes kicks you down. This was after our last conversation in which she essentially told me that she and the guy she said I shouldn't worry about, who she left me for 2 days after we broke up, had ended their relationship because we weren't a match and her mental and physical health were suffering. While it may not have come across in text, it was sarcastic. Story 8. Texting didn't exist when we parted ways. You either had to say your last words in person or by phone, or you simply didn't say anything. Story 9. Phone text. I think it was, can I call you? Discord message. I cared about you too, but I had to care about myself more. This was 6 months after the breakup when he told me he loved and missed me at 3 a.m. Story 10. You are a rolling stone, but I am a cannonball. You are not fooling me or anyone else. You have your head in the clouds. You are delusional about all that is emotional. Just be sure I will be there when you are looking for something more. Story 11. I ended the relationship with a phone call. My last text was something like, I will be playing a game tonight if you want to join. The last thing I said to him was, if you really cared, you would have spoken to me before I called. Goodbye. Story 12. It's been a long time, but something pretty close to, okay. Goodbye, name. You won't hear from me again. And they didn't. Story 13. My reasons for being on a dating app are personal. I found the app after being single for over 10 years. Story 14. I'll come around. Sounds ominous. The context was that she asked me to come to the front door to drop off her rabbit. Story 15. You are not getting spousal support. We dated for less than a year, and she became irrational and attempted to divorce me from my family. Story 16. Okay, because it's usually the nonsense I avoid. I am not about to argue with you. I need to find a new partner before the next holiday. Story 17. I will be sure to share your warning with everyone in response to the claim that I was a monster who manipulated all of my friends into believing I was a good person. Story 18. If you are reading this, know that I don't foresee you ever truly being happy in a relationship because all you think about is yourself. It's like the lyrics in the song Tear Away by Drowning Pool. I don't care about anyone else but me. Goddamn. I love me. So I hope you enjoyed reading this. Enjoy caring only about yourself, you egomaniac. Story 19. I'm sorry to hear that. She was a good dog. We hadn't spoken in a while, but she texted to let me know her dog died because that was her little friend. Story 20. After she sent 4 consecutive messages blaming me for everything before she blocked me, I was so exhausted that I couldn't be bothered to read it all. Story 21. I wish you every happiness in the future. Goodbye. That's not because I am a good person. I just like to keep people calm so they don't act strangely. Story 22. It is a sad situation. Notifying the death of a mutual friend using his widow's number, as requested by her. I did not receive any replies. Story 23. No, you can't have the $10 blanket back that you gave me a year ago. Please seek help for your addiction before you hurt anyone else. Best wishes. Story 24. Not exactly an ex, but a really toxic friend. After a long, heated discussion about his behavior, all he said was, "I'm done with you." Story 25. How should I know? I don't even remember when I last texted them. You all seriously need to learn to move on with your lives. Story 26. Once I determine someone is toxic, I remove them from my life permanently, so the shirt would be blank. There isn't always a warning. They will figure it out on their own or they won't. Who cares? Story 27. She went back to her country and sends me a text every 6 months to keep her United Kingdom SIM active. We still talk daily on WhatsApp, so it is usually a reply to the word test. Story 28. A text compiles everything she had done to hurt me and others, explaining why I decided to break up with her. Story 29. She wasn't toxic. Most of the family around us were influencers. Looking back, we brought out the best in each other when we were young. As we aged, we faced challenges and realized that we weren't there for each other when it mattered. If I could do it all again, I wouldn't. I would have just focused on my work. She would have hopefully met a gentle, kind, and loving partner to share her life with. She is an amazing mother. She deserves love, respect, and someone by her side who supports her. Story 30. Come get your belongings out of my house, or I will dispose of everything in the street. She ensured that a police officer was present when she arrived. Story 31. I'm done waiting. You said you needed a break but haven't spoken to me since. I have waited months, and I'm through with it. Story 32. He asked if I would forgive him and come back. He ended the relationship with me because he got upset when I followed his instructions, not out of any negative intention. Story 33. Where are your friends? I'm not too sure, but my friends and I are having a great time. Story 34. I would say congratulations, but I can only feel bad for your new fiancé. Instead of being enveloped in happiness about your recent engagement, you thought about rubbing the proposal in my face, which just shows you haven't grown up and you are still the same old petty person. This was my response after she reached out years after we broke up, having stalked me for a while after I thought I had finally gotten rid of her. She sent a picture of her new ring and texted that she got engaged, claiming I would never meet anyone like her and wishing me good luck. Story 35. Sorry, not sorry. I found that funny because I just learned it and threw it out there. I said that because I sent this. I don't know why I said that either. I guess what I really mean is I don't really care about what you were saying. I brought it up because reading that made me seriously laugh out loud. Story 36. She wasn't toxic. She was into many of the same things as I was. She was very attractive and we had great chemistry. She just had some challenges in her life that unfortunately made the prospect of being with her long-term a bad idea. Additionally, this text is directed towards me. I dislike you. I have negative feelings towards you. Story 37. I wrote a paragraph explaining how his toxic behavior had destroyed my self-esteem and that I will heal someday. So please leave me alone. This is going to be an interesting shirt. Story 38. Hello. Please delete my aunt from your Facebook. Also, remove yourself as the primary contact for Iron Bridge Animal Hospital regarding Handsome. He is not your dog, and you have no reason or need to be involved. It is inappropriate for you to pursue this matter. Please refrain from contacting my family. Story 39. I am sorry to hear that. She was not attractive but had a heart of gold. Bury her behind the shed with the others. Story 40. After she saw that the girl I was currently dating commented on my Facebook page, she asked me if I wanted to meet up with her. Story 41. Subject: Headstone Replacement. Dear X's name, I hope this message finds you well. I am writing to discuss the replacement of our son's headstone. It has been a year and a half since we last addressed this matter, and I believe it is important for us to move forward. As you know, we anticipated returning to court, and I think resolving this issue would be beneficial for both of us. Please let me know your thoughts. Best regards. Your name. Story 42. Going against the grain here, my toxic ex and I are friends now. We just know we don't belong together. My last message was a couple of hours ago. I found the TED Talk. I love this. I was sharing something I enjoyed with him. Story 43. I found out she was having multiple affairs and engaging in threesomes while I was at work. After all the lawyers, arguments, and tears, about a month after everything was revealed, all the men involved dropped her one by one. She texted me, "Whatever happened to us?" I was really tempted to patch things up, but I just couldn't do it. Story 44. I'd rather it was the breakup text. I can't do this anymore. I've met a girl. When can I return the item? He was training so he could engage in the activity. Story 45. I hope we come together quickly. It was not intentional for either of us. We had to part ways due to our parents. Story 46. It was actually much longer than this, but this is how I ended it. Thanks. Have a nice day. Story 47. It would be a long message telling him to leave me alone. I will involve the police if he continues to harass me. It has been over a year, and I do not even remember what I said. Yet this man still tries to contact me. Perhaps his shirt should just say, "Read." Story 48. Needs her last statement for it to make sense. It wasn't a text message. It was a video chat. Her. I'm really happy to hear from you again. Me. Bye. A controlling and manipulative individual, displaying codependent narcissistic traits. She couldn't get through a single phone call without trying to correct me on what I was thinking, feeling, and experiencing. Story 49. I wish he had to wear this all the time. Hey, next time you decide not to use protection with someone, ask first, not when you are already inside. Story 50. Then go ahead. After 5 years of emotional abuse and manipulation, I finally found some self-worth and left him. After a few months, he sent a message saying he was better, got a proper diagnosis, and wanted to talk in person. I refused, and he inundated me with messages trying to get me to see him. Then he threatened, saying he couldn't live without me and that he would harm himself if I didn't meet him. Absolutely not. Take that manipulative behavior elsewhere. I had already moved on, but that solidified my decision. Story 51. It has been 15 years. Our time together was never good and reached a level of unhealthiness I have never encountered in any subsequent relationship. Your romanticization of it makes me sad because it makes me feel like everything since has been, at best, as bad or probably worse for you than one of the most harmful relationships I have experienced outside my family. This suggests to me that you haven't grown during that time. Your current partner does not deserve to have you obsessing over me or anyone other than her, and I think she will probably figure that out before you do. Story 52. Not at work, but someone I loved who couldn't reciprocate after she told me her mental health isn't great. Take care. You'll be good. She wasn't toxic. I don't think so. However, she mentioned that she isn't good for me and is toxic after knowing her as a friend for 2.5 years. Story 53. It would have to be a printed shirt because the last thing I sent him was a photo of our divorce certificate. Story 54. The police left a voice message on your phone to stop harassing me. He was 14 years older than I was and constantly abused me. Once I was safe in the psychiatric ward, I called the police because he wouldn't stop harassing me via phone. I knew he was terrified of the police due to previous encounters related to attempting to take his children when the mother wouldn't let him see them. I was using him as a form of self-harm after a 5.5-year relationship that shattered my world. I didn't realize how harmful this man would be for me once I emerged from the abuse. I haven't heard from him since, and I am very glad. Story 55. Because we have each other blocked, I use the chat text box to remember movies I want to watch. The last text was Trading Places. Story 56. I cannot talk to you now. I am working. She has never worked in her entire life, so it would be funny for her to wear that on a shirt. Story 57. My eyes are dry tonight. When I put you in your place, it almost doesn't feel right. Then I remember all the things you put me through. It almost feels like a burden just to know you. This quote from a song by one of my favorite bands resonates with my experiences with them and a few people I considered friends years ago. Story 58. I'm sorry I called the police, but I'm not going to let you take my family from me and make accusations that aren't true. I only said you could come over because I love you. I texted after the police were on their way to pick her up for domestic battery. I had called before but never pressed charges. Story 59. I'm so glad I moved on. After they responded to me losing my grandmother by asking, "Isn't she the one with all the money?" Story 60. Please stop telling everyone I'm a rapist just because I watch anime. She never stopped. I bet she still shares with her toxic radical feminist circle about her rapist ex who likes the girls who are coded to not be able to say no. Story 61. I can't be your friend anymore. The relationship was toxic on both sides. We were just two high school kids, obviously incompatible, who believed love was a choice. We thought that if we tried hard enough, we could win and be together forever. There's more to it than just that, but sharing all the details would take a long time. Story 62. Someone hacked my Facebook and wrote inappropriate posts like that. Story 63. What is wrong with you? I come home early to surprise you, and I find you with 3 guys. You're disgusting. I swear, if you gave me anything, I will expose you to every single member of your family. Your own father will know that you are acting inappropriately. I found out that she was also sleeping with her dad. 2 of the 3 people I caught her with were actually friends of her father. What is wrong with people nowadays? Story 64. My last message to my ex was a selfie of me with a cut on my forehead. The evening before, my boss threw a staff party, and my possessive ex was upset that I wanted to go. On my way home, a random person punched me in the forehead as I walked by. He replied to my selfie, "Well, if you hadn't gone like I told you, this wouldn't have happened." I never spoke to him again. Story 65. I guess I missed the day they handed out the instruction manual on how to handle every situation as a father. Story 66. The last conversation with her was about her grandmother's passing. She doesn't need a reminder of that. Story 67. If by text we are including written words, then a 5 to 6 page letter detailing how counseling helped me realize areas in which I had been treating her wrongly, areas in which I felt she was simply unjust, and offering to work through counseling together to try to save our marriage. I also offered forgiveness even though she is the one who cheated, and said it would take work, but I believed I could put it behind us and start fresh. In retrospect, that would make for one hilarious t-shirt. Story 68. I cannot stop you, and I no longer care. She threatened to harm herself because she left me, and I would not take her back. I cannot make myself responsible for other people's mental well-being, especially when I have already given so much of mine. Story 69. Yes, that is what I am saying. I do not want to be with you anymore. Please stop trying to argue with me about this. I said we are done. Do you understand? We are broken up. We are not together anymore. It is over. Story 70. If you come at me, make sure you don't miss. You missed. I probably stole it from somewhere subconsciously. I don't know from where. It just sounded impressive. I doubt I'll want them to wear it, though. Story 71. It was something along the lines of, "Stop gaslighting me." They ghosted me afterward, and I never heard from them again. What I did hear about were mutual friends who received screenshots of our texts from them, which were cropped to portray me as abusive. Story 72. He was trying to manipulate me as if we were still in a relationship last night, so I teased him about various things until my stomach hurt from laughter. Story 73. I refuse to accept criticism from someone who resorted to abusive behavior. It's ironic that this person struggled with erectile dysfunction due to low testosterone at such a young age. At the time, my reaction felt justified. Story 74. I have been reflecting a lot and thinking about you. What you shared made me realize some things. How have you been? Story 75. You will look for me in every new man you date for the rest of your life, and your heart will break repeatedly when you realize you can't find my replacement. I hope you heal someday so you have the mental capacity and maturity to treat and love the next person who has your best interests at heart. Take care. I love you. Story 76. Karma will treat you exactly the way you deserve. She was involved with multiple partners, and at that moment, She had cheated on her ninth partner. Clearly, she had serious issues, and honestly, the world would be a better place without her. The amount of lies and manipulation I endured was overwhelming. I am certain that the unhappiness and trauma she caused not just to me but to many others, including a man recovering from cancer before me, whom she chose to betray, will eventually come back to her if it hasn't already. Story 77. I would have died for your sins. Instead, I just died inside. You deserve prison, but you won't get time. You'll slide into inboxes and slip through the bars. You crashed my party and your rental car. You said normal girls were boring, but you were gone by the morning. You kicked out the stage lights, but you're still performing. In plain sight, you hid, but you are what you did. I'll forget you, but I'll never forgive the smallest man who ever lived. I sent him a small essay, telling him how awful he was for gaslighting me and abandoning me when I was going through a cancer scare because it was all too difficult for him. Then he asked me to stay away from him, as it was making him feel too bad and guilty. I ended with that lyric since we used to send each other song lyrics and music videos that reminded us of each other, so I thought I'd stick with the theme. Story 78. I eagerly await the day when you will only be a distant memory. The crash beforehand was legendary, but I am incredibly proud of myself for the fact that this is the last thing I ever said to him. Story 79. Thank you for showing me exactly what I do not want in a relationship. I am treating myself to dinner tonight to celebrate 6 months of freedom. Story 80. No, you cannot park your car, a Honda Civic you tried to turn into a drift car, in my garage for the winter. I don't think my partner would feel comfortable with that. I was shocked that he would even ask. I disliked that car and didn't want it around when we were together. Story 81. Could you at least tell me if I am not getting the rest of my money back? I took getting blocked as a no. Story 82. It was a long one, but this gem was the highlight. You should call that stick up your ass the equator. Then maybe the world would revolve around you. I know technically the Earth revolves around the axis, not the equator, but I'm not sure he would have understood if I used the correct term. Story 83. I'm paraphrasing because it's been so long I don't remember the exact words. Something like, you made your choice, and that's okay. I wish you all the best. We love you very much. Story 84. Do not contact me ever again. This is our last conversation. I do not want to see you or talk to you. This is goodbye. Have a good life. Story 85. I tried to help you, but you pushed me away. I attempted to listen to you, but you remained quiet. What I received from you were lies. The worst part is that everyone, even your friends and mother, told you I was always there, and instead you chose to be with my ex's fiancé. Please remove my number. This is the last communication you will receive from me. You are blocked from everything I have so I can forget you. Through mutual friends who learned about our breakup, I discovered that she ended up in a psychiatric ward for some mental health issues I suspected. She attempted to reach out to me, but I ignored her. She tried for a few years after we broke up in 2017, but she only stopped reaching out 3 years ago. Story 86. It would write that this girl is actually okay. She is this and that, and I just didn't know where my boundaries were and how to say it's enough. Story 87. Congratulations, name. He got engaged, and then he blocked me, which I assume was his new fiancé's doing. Story 88. You are married, and we do not need to communicate anymore. If you miss me, that is a conversation you should have with your husband and something you should have considered before marrying him. I blocked her, and she found 3 other platforms to message me on. I did not even read the messages. I just blocked her. Story 89. I have deleted all our conversations, but I am fairly certain my last text was an acknowledgement of the tracking information for the package containing my iPad. I believe my last message with actual words said something like, once I have my iPad back, neither you, your girlfriend, nor your family will ever be contacted by me again. Now that I think about it, maybe he wasn't toxic. He was definitely a manipulator, a liar, and both a serial and concurrent cheater. Story 90. That was my response when she texted me saying, you are never going to speak to me again, are you? I replied, yes, and I have kept that promise. Story 91. The front would say, You should consider a mental hospital then. And the back would say, I found one of your socks in my laundry. Story 92. Getting evaluations possibly tomorrow. I meant what I said. You essentially called me heartless and uncaring when I'm doing all I can within my means. 3 times you didn't listen when I tried to tell you that my laughter was not because I thought the situation was funny or a joke. Recall, you only listened after I said we were breaking up. You straight out called me demonic instead of showing concern for my roughly 3-hour laughing fit. On top of all that, you're trying to get me to compromise my morals and ruin what is an acquaintanceship at best. I understand that Noah is your ex and you say he tried to hack you, but I do not want to help you steal his suits, nor did I ever. I have nothing personally against Noah. Your issues with him do not concern me. I am not morally compromised enough to feel comfortable stealing from someone who has not wronged me. I was only going along out of a sense of obligation because we were dating. When I was writing about all of this, you did not seem to care about my mental well-being. I made it very clear that it was making me miserable, but you were always pushing me to continue. After 9 entire pages and 1,600 items non-stop, I had to force myself to stop through all the misery I was expressing to you, and how desperately you knew I wanted to stop. It never crossed your mind that I deserved just a little bit of a break. You just wanted me chained down, nose to the grindstone, like a little robot forever in your service. It's clear that you don't actually care about me as a person, only about what I can do for you, doing basically all the work for your giveaway, satisfying your fetish, being the sole financier of all your wants, helping you get revenge on your exes. You say you love me, but it really seems like you don't mean that sometimes. Frankly, I'm not entirely sure if I ever actually loved you in the first place. So yes, we are done. Now, if you don't mind, I'm going to sleep. Story 93. I don't know if I want a shirt that says, your last text, printed on it. People might think I'm just a little bit peculiar. Story 94. Did you apologize because you actually felt bad or because it has been making you feel bad? Please do not contact me again. Story 95. I haven't talked to her in a while. She cheated on me and broke up with me but strung me along as if we would get back together for half a year. I didn't find out about the cheating until a couple of years later, so she knew what she was doing. My dad used to be her basketball coach, and when he was diagnosed with stage 4 cancer, he understandably had strong emotions about it. He asked me if I had told her about his cancer because he liked her when we were dating and coaching her. I told him we don't really talk anymore, and I didn't want to reach out to her because I didn't feel it was worth it. He insisted, trying to get me to let her know. He wanted to seek sympathy from people. So I reluctantly typed out a quick message. Hey, sorry for randomly texting you. My dad was diagnosed with cancer and it's serious. He asked me to tell you, and it would mean a lot to him if you reached out and let him know you were thinking of him. She responded with something like, give my condolences to your dad, but I don't want you texting me. Just block my number like you blocked me on social media. I was furious. I felt I made it clear that I wasn't reaching out to her to reconnect. So I let her have it. I think it ended with, I would call you scum, but that would be an insult to scum. I sincerely hope you face consequences for your actions. Story 96. I haven't had an ex since before the invention of text messages. I have been with my wife for almost 30 years. Story 97. This is going back a while. My first real breakup was with the girl I dated during the last couple of years of high school and into college. She graduated the year before me, and we managed to navigate the transition of her being out of school and getting a job decently. But then I graduated and went to college, and she was with multiple partners. The relationship was on its way out anyway, and if I had been wiser, I would have ended it before it got that far, but she managed to create a lot of damage. She also sexually assaulted one of my friends, which I didn't know at the time. She was at his house with a group of friends, he went to sleep, and she snuck into his room and initiated a sexual act. At the time I sent this text, I only knew she had been intimate with him, not that it wasn't consensual. All that being said, she texted me after we broke up asking to borrow something, as if we were friends. She didn't quite know I was aware of the full extent of her cheating at that point. When I responded with a simple, no, she said something like, you don't have to be rude. So my last text to her was, and you didn't have to be with my friend or sleep with a bunch of other guys. But here we are. Story 98. Please just let me see my daughter again. It was a tough time. Guess. I see her almost every day now. Story 99. Oh, today is April 1st, and you know what that means. With April flowers come May showers. It's time to prank all those naughty friends you've been fooling around with. Send this to 10 of your closest tricksters to celebrate. If you don't get 5 responses, then there will be consequences as a prank. Story 100. Now it's time to play dirty. You leave me no choice. That was 4 years ago, and I'm still waiting. He couldn't even do that correctly. Story 101. This is to inform you that I no longer wish to have contact with you through phone, text, email, Facebook, or in person. Story 102. Romeo died today. He went peacefully, surrounded by people who loved him. If the roles were reversed, I would want you to tell me. I was informing her that the cat she abandoned in a carrier on my back porch in 20-degree weather had passed away. I kept that cat for about 15 years after she left. He was a great companion. Story 103. You have deep-seated emotional problems and need to continue to seek help for them. I tried patience, openness, and compassion because I care about you. But you insulted me, my family, and my deceased mother, and continued to berate me for an entire day. This was it for me. Thanks a bunch for sticking around till the end of the video. Remember to subscribe, and until next time, stay awesome and goodbye.